Coming at y'all with a quick live. Mostly recapping the women's final for tonight. Really good basketball, particularly the second game. Early on, you had South Carolina handling North Carolina State. I think the final was like 76-57 or something like that. North Carolina State played really, really well in the first half. It was a 1 point game at halftime, but Cardosa, we had no idea on what her status was at halftime. But then, in that third quarter, South Carolina flexed their muscle. Their defensive intensity picked up, their depth showed. Ashlyn Watkins started the second half, and she didn't score a lot of points, but man, she had what 20 rebounds, and she was a force defensively. Camilla Cardoso was big time, in this game, being an absolute dominant post presence. And they just had real balance scoring throughout, something that they normally do. They just did what they do. Um, and then in the nightcap, Iowa beats UConn. I think it ended up being like 81-79 or something like that. Really good basketball game. UConn was really doing their thing defensively in the first half. But in the second half, Caitlin Clark got going a little bit. But Hannah Stokey was really the difference for Iowa in that second half. Kate Martin hit some really big shots. But I'm gonna keep it 100, yo. That offensive foul call on UConn is one of those type of foul calls that make you wonder. Like, I'm not one of them people that feels like, oh, it's rigged, all they rigging it and all this other stuff. But at times it make you wonder, because you don't call that. And it takes away from a really good win that Iowa had. And that's going to be the talking point because, UConn, you got the ball with, one of the most dangerous players in the country in Paige Beckers. And she coming around the corner, probably setting up to shoot that, elite mid range jumper that she has that's probably could give you kind of win. And then you call that. Not only was Aaliyah Edwards set, but it was way after the play. And you call that, and I mean, it was just bad. I mean, now look, UConn had to do it. Look, they should have got the rebound on the Caitlin Clark free throw. They should have did a better job containing Hannah Stokey. Though I thought they gave a lot of eyes to Caitlin Clark, rightfully so. And they did like a really good job defensively on us. I wish LSU had some of them defensive alignments, what I'm saying, that UConn played with. But, like calls like that, like I said, it really make you wonder. It makes you wonder that why else would you call it? And that's gonna be the talking point. And unfortunately, because of that call, that's what most people gonna remember by that game, except for Iowa, gutting out a really tough victory. And now you got South Carolina versus Iowa in the national championship, a rematch of the Final Four game last year, and we're gonna see what happens. What's up, Joseph Clark? How the Buffalo Bills, the trade that they made. Yeah, that was a big move. I think it was a really good move for Houston, getting Stephon Diggs. Look, I know there's a lot of people saying that, oh, he's a locker room cancer and all this other stuff. And maybe he showed his what in Houston, but I'm looking from an offensive personnel standpoint. It's a big move for Houston, man. CJ Stroud now has Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell coming off an injury, John Mechie continuing to get healthier and healthier. They got Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, Laramie Tunsil on the offensive line. And then defensively, guys like Danielle Hunter, Chris Harris, Derek Stingley Jr. They really putting a nice little thing going over there. Will Anderson, coming off the edge. So they really putting a nice team together over there. What's up, D Aldridge? Hashtag Bird Gang for life. Yo, do got people say that was a bad call. It was, man. Like it was way behind the play. First of all, I thought she was set for one, and for two, it's behind the play. Like I mean, it was totally unnecessary to the play. It's one of those plays that after the fact, Iowa fans would have not been calling for offensive foul on that. So I just definitely think it was a real ridiculous call. What's up, Malik Baker, Mr. Dugas? What's up, bro? What's good, man? What's up, official Young Nola? What's up, bro? What you think about the Saints getting Chase Young? If he's healthy, he's gonna definitely help. He got the neck situation, and there's talk that he may even miss like some training camp time. I don't know about no regular season time or nothing like that, but it's talk that he may miss some training camp time, and but if he's out there, I think he gonna be a real vital part, to that organization. Coming off of one side, with Cam Jordan on the other side, though Cam Jordan getting a little up there in age, he's still, one of the better pass rushers in the league. So, getting him, he's young. There's questions sometimes about his motor, but like I mean, that rookie season, I think about his first game when he played my Eagles the COVID year, and he gave us hell. So, if he could tap into that potential that he has, I mean, it's a really good get for the Saints. Getting Chase Young, but yeah, man, just real tough, for UConn, man, for that game to be basically decided on that bogus offensive foul call. And in other news, speaking of women's college basketball, I didn't get a chance to address it. Angel Reese has declared for the WNBA draft. I was hoping she would have came back to LSU, obviously for selfish reasons, and I thought that next year she could potentially be the number two pick in the draft, right behind Paige Beckers. And I felt like she got to work a little more on her mid-range game. Plus, obviously would give LSU a great chance of getting another deep run next year. But shout out to her, man. She did her time. She got us a national championship. She's gonna go down as one of the most influential people in women's college basketball. And for LSU, she's one of the great athletes to come through the university. So shout out to her. And then you had Haley Van Lint entering the transfer portal. Look, man, respect to her, wish her well, shout out to her, but to keep it 100, she just wasn't a good fit at LSU. She came in with a lot of hype. I was extremely excited when we first signed her out the transfer portal, and I would have liked to seen her come back and leave a better mark on LSU, but she decided to go somewhere else, and where that's gonna be is yet to be determined. But it just didn't work, man. Offensively, she literally had one game, against Tennessee where it was like, all right, what I'm saying? She looked like, that Louisville player she was, but then it's offensively, I get it. Look, LSU, we feed the post, and offensively, everything runs through, our post players, which that's how it should be with LSU when you have Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow down low on the block. But I mean, whenever we kicked that out, I mean, Floje got her, Michaela Williams got her, so why Haley Van Lith couldn't get her. I don't understand. I was expecting a big game from her against Iowa on the offensive and defensively. I'm not gonna get on her too much because I honestly feel like she shouldn't have been guarding Caitlin Clark anyway. That should have been Floje, and I thought that Kim Mulkey screwed that up. But offensively, she left a lot to be desired because I felt like it was opportunities where she had chances to really leave her imprint, on the games and stuff, and she just didn't do it for whatever reason. So, but I wish her well, man. We're gonna see what happens, yo. But Yeah, man. Of course, you know the story of the night, man. The headline is the women's Final Four. Looking ahead to the championship game, it's gonna be a lot of eyes on that game. South Carolina is going for an undefeated national championship, and Caitlin Clark is going, and Iowa is going to try to send Caitlin Clark out as a national champion, something that she hasn't done. So, just with those two storylines in itself, it brings a lot of intrigue. And obviously, somebody gonna be very disappointed if South Carolina lose this game. They're gonna be extremely disappointed again because it's like for 2 years in a row, you've had by far the best team in the country in the regular season, and then it don't result in one national championship out of the last 2 years. That is, that's disappointing for them. And then for Iowa, it's like for you to have a player like a Caitlin Clark that is, in a lot of people's eyes, the greatest women's college basketball player ever. And in 4 years, you don't win one national championship and you lose in two national championships in a row. You know, and it would be to teams that you have beaten within the last 2 years. You would lose to South Carolina this year after beating them last year, and you lost to LSU last year, who you turn on and beat this year. So that would definitely be very, very disappointing, for Iowa and for the Caitlin Clark, resume if they don't get a national championship out of, her services at Iowa. What's up, Cali, dude? I wanted to see LSU versus Gamecocks Final Four. Well, it would have been the national championship game. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what I felt like was going to happen. But Iowa had other plans. Iowa had other plans. On one hand, you got to give them a lot of credit because they got it done. They beat us, but then on the other hand, I'm very annoyed with Kim Mulkey's defensive strategy against her. It felt like Kim was caught up in being a fan and watching the girl do her thing, where the girl is amazing, but UConn didn't just sit back and let her do her thing. Now granted, the trade off was Hannah Stokett was amazing with 23 points. Kate Martin, I don't know how much she finished with, but she had some big buckets in that fourth quarter. Iowa looked like crap tonight, though. Well, I mean, I won't say that. I'll say like they definitely got rattled in the first half, and UConn should have had a bigger lead, man. UConn should have had a bigger lead whenever Clark was out there, basically not hitting threes, and she got going, a little bit there in the second half, and then her teammates stepped up tonight. That's one thing I gotta say. Her teammates actually stepped up tonight, which is something that they haven't been doing lately. So you got to give them a lot of credit for that. And they got it done. But was unfortunate, like I said, is that you have Iowa um, with such a great performance. You know what I'm saying? Like a really, really great performance, but it's gonna be somewhat nullified because you know the talk is going to be of the call. The talk is going to be of the missed call on the bad call on the offensive foul. So to me, that's the biggest issue, man. Is that that call got made and it took away a lot of the greatness of this game. And that's to me, that's just really, really unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? That's just real unfortunate that, such a call was made in that particular moment, man. It's just I just think it's real ridiculous, yo. Just to be honest with you, I think it's ridiculous. Clark missed first 9 3-pointers. Yeah, I mean, part of that was she missed some shots that, obviously she could um, she missed some shots that she could definitely make. But then on the other hand, I thought UConn and Gino Ariema did a great job of defending her. The girl, I forget her name, but the little guard that was on it did a great job. And then I think what saved him was Hannah Stokey and Kate Martin in the fourth quarter. I think is what saved them. Refs seem to change games sometimes. Gamecocks will smash Iowa. Well, you think they would. I think that they're gonna win. I think they're the better team. I think they're more athletic. I think they're bigger. As long as they feed Cardoso, I know Iowa gonna run a lot of zones, so which means South Carolina should dominate the glass. With their size and their athleticism, with people like Cardoso and Ashlyn Watkins, and them. But South Carolina, I think the difference this year as to last year is this year South Carolina got much better shooting. They still got a dominant post presence with Camilla Cardozo, but I think that they could shoot the ball this year. I mean, we all remember the play where Caitlin Clark basically looked at Raven Johnson and kind of waved her off like she was some straight trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, ain't nobody worrying about you. You could shoot that all you want. You know what I'm saying? But this year, Raven Johnson can knock down shots like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely gonna be the difference in, everything this season. I think South Carolina get it done. You know, did uh did a better team, but we'll see. UConn's defense was solid. It definitely was. They played great defense. I felt like. I think where they messed up was Paige Beckers. I felt like wasn't as aggressive as I thought she should have been for UConn as well. She had a clear mismatch. They had Gabby Marshall as like the primary defender on it, and she's way shorter than her. Like she could have just pulled up and shot over. I don't know if that was a combination of UConn not doing a good enough job of making sure she got the ball. I don't know if that was her not being assertive enough and going get the ball. But whatever it was, I felt like Paige Becker should have been a little more aggressive in this game. Cardosa hurt ankle tonight though. Nobody can defend her. She's 6'8". Well, think particularly 6'7", but I was not gonna be able to guard her. She's too big. They had trouble with Angel Reese, but before she rolled her ankle, but Angel Reese wasn't 100%. You would think Cardoso not gonna be 100%, but South Carolina, what I defensively, now I don't know if their guards could do a good job of staying in front of Caitlin Clark, but they do have length and a wingspan to where they could if they're right there with her, they could contest her shot a lot better than a lot of other guards in the sport. It's particularly Bria Hall and Raven Johnson. Now, when they go to Malaysia Fuwale, it's a different story. Now, she's quick. I think she could stay in front of Clark, but Clark is much bigger than her. So, that may affect a lot of things, as far as her, being she may go more into the post if Fuwale is on her. You a Saints fan? Nah, fly Eagles fly, man. What's up, Brian Turner? I'll take Iowa. Ooh, brave man, bro. Brave man. I could see him doing it, because South Carolina, I think at times offensively get really stagnant. And at times, and if South Carolina don't shoot the ball well, Iowa could score. Clark gonna have one of those really dominant performances. I feel like she kind of like she had last year, because I don't think the others are going to be able to get off against. Like I don't think Hannah Stokey was outstanding tonight. Camilla Cardozo gonna be down low. I don't think she really gonna eat like that. And then you got, Kate Martin gonna probably draw somebody like Ashlyn Watkins, who's just a physical specimen, especially on the defensive end. So I think it's gonna have to be one of those legendary Caitlin Clark 40 plus, 35 plus performances to try to, will Iowa to when she got to get it done in this championship game. She got a lot of help tonight. I don't think she get as much help against South Carolina, so she got to definitely get it done. In one summer, Florida State used the portal to bring in five potential first round picks. Could LSU do something similar? I sure hope so. Like, especially to me, especially in the defensive backfield. LSU's lacking great talent in the secondary. I think with Corey Raymond being back, I think that's going to change in the near future. Particularly next year. But for this year, I think we lacking a little bit of talent in the secondary. So it would be nice if we went in the portal and got us some corners. We did it last year. Now, Zai Alexander, after a rough start, I thought started to come along a little bit, and he settled in as our number one corner before he had the freakish injury against Army. But the rest of the corners just really did not do well at all. Especially guys like Deuce Chestnut, who we got out the portal, and Denver Harris, who we got out the portal. So now year before, Makai Gardner was great for us out the portal. But we're gonna see what happens. Last one, then I'm gonna have to run, y'all. I believe if Jart Travers doesn't get hurt, that team wins the national championship handily. What they did in the portal was nothing short of historic. I agree. I said that the other day. I thought that Florida State with Jart and Travers was the best team in the country. I thought that if he would have stayed healthy, they could beat Michigan. I definitely do believe that how physical and talented that team was, but they just caught a real tough break, and sometimes, unfortunately, that happens. But all right, y'all, man. Appreciate y'all tuning into the live. Stay tuned for the videos to come in for lives in the future. Until then, y'all have a blessed night. Go Tigers.